Hello everyone. Okay, so in today's class, we'll be discussing about directed numbers. So directed numbers are numbers that have both magnitude and direction. Numbers that have both magnitude, which is size, and direction, which is either positive or negative sign. Okay, so now when we consider directed numbers, we have the positive numbers and the negative numbers. That means directed number is divided into positive and negative. So positive numbers are numbers in one direction, such as up. So up is positive, then numbers moving up, and then we can also say gain. Gain, this is a positive number, and then we can talk about right. So let's put plus right. So all these are positive number. And then looking at negative numbers. So negative numbers are numbers in the opposite direction to the positive number. And that is down. So numbers that are moving down. And then we also have loss. When you lose money in a business, that's negative, it's going down. And then left. Okay, so for proper understanding of this, we are going to use three different things. First of all, let's start with the four cardinal points of the earth, the four major cardinal points of the earth. So let me use here. So we have here, so we have the North Pole, we have the South Pole, we have East, and then we have what? West. So when you move towards the north, that is positive. And then if you move towards the east, that's still positive. Then what happens if you move towards the west? That's negative. And then when you move towards the south, that is negative. So as indicated here, negative, that's left, is negative, and then downward is what? Still negative. Why positive numbers are numbers that travel upward, or numbers that move in the what? Towards the right, and that is gain. In the case of gain and loss, gain is when you increase, when you make profit, and then loss is when you lose your money, maybe in a business or one thing or the other. Okay, so another example is the number line. So a number line, let's take here to be 0. So numbers at the right side of 0, remember right is positive, are all positive. Example, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, don't mind that line. Okay. 6, 7, till infinity. And then to the negative, we have -1, -2, -3, -4, and so on. Okay, now to the right side of 0, that is positive. To the left side is what? Negative. So that means when you move towards the right, that is positive. You are gaining, you are increasing. So you move from 1 to 2, you are increasing. What if you move towards the left? If you move towards the left, you are decreasing, that's down. Okay, you are decreasing, that's loss. Like you move from 3 to 2 to 1 to 0 to -1, and that is that. And then the last example to explain how this thing moves is using, when we plot graph, we have what we call the y coordinate, or the y axis, and the what? X axis. So let's look at the y axis and the what? X axis. So the vertical line is what we call the y axis, and then we call this what? The x axis. So what happens is, in our graph, when this is the point of origin, and that is 0. So here is 0, then here is 1. Let's say here is 2, 3, 4, and so on. Then towards the left, we have -1, -2, -3. And then what happens when you move upward? So upward we have 1, 2, 3, 4. And then downward, what happens is that we have what? -1, -2, and -3. So all these examples are there to explain what directed numbers are. So directed numbers, as stated earlier, are numbers that have both magnitude and direction. Okay, so let's dive into directed numbers and see why it is very important that you know it. Well, when we talk about directed numbers, the major focus is how positive relates with negative. Example, most students, when you ask them or when you give them questions like this, evaluate -3 plus 7. When you ask student -3 plus 7, it will amaze you that many of them will be giving you all kinds of answer. And these are not people that are beginning mathematics. They have been in the field of learning for some time. And as simple as this may seem to some of us, it is still, many students still find it hard to solve. Most people have to use their calculator, but to know this is important because when solving questions under logarithm, at some point you are not supposed to use calculator, because when you use calculator without proper understanding of directed numbers, the calculator will be giving you wrong answer. Okay, so how do you solve questions like this? Well, to find the answer to the question on the board, we are going to use this number line. So the number line said -3 plus 7. Remember that negative is the left side of 0 is where you find negative, while the right side of 0 is where you find positive. Okay, so locate where you have -3, and that is this point. So this is our -3 here. And then move towards the right, because positive is towards the right. So move towards the right. How many times? 7 times. And that will be the answer. So let's check it out. So this is -3. Let's move towards the right. How many times? 7 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So that means that -3 plus 7 is equals to what? 4. Again, you can reverse this. Now, this question can be rearranged to become 7 minus 3. So if you go by 7 minus 3, you will still get the same answer. How? So locate where you have 7. This 7 here is positive 7. And then you decrease it by what? You decrease it 3 times. That means you are going to move towards the left because negative is left. You're going to move towards the left. How many times? 3 times. So where do we have 7? From our table, the number line. So this is our 7 here. Now let's take that 7 and move 3 times towards the left. 1, 2, and what? 3. So both answer point to 4. So whichever way, you are going to get the same answer. Okay, now let's consider another question. So let's say we have something like -5 plus 2. So what is the value of -5 plus 2? Well, so what you have to do is find -5 on your number line. And okay, we don't have it here. Let's put it -5 and increase it by how many? By 2. Remember, positive means right. So that means move 2 times to the right. And this is negative 5. So then we move 1, 2. And the answer will give us what? Negative 3. So this becomes negative 3. And then what if we regroup it and then place it place it as 2 minus 5? 2 minus 5, what will be the answer? So you locate 2 and then move towards the left because negative is left. Move towards the left by how many times? By 5 times. Okay, so let's find 2. This is 2. We move 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And that coincides with negative 3. And the answer is negative 3. So what happens is that when solving questions, you don't necessarily need to draw this number line, but the purpose of this number line was to explain the concept. So we are also going to see many more. Okay, let's do one more example before we move ahead. Okay, so let's say we have negative 4 and negative 5. So negative 4 and negative 5. Okay, for that we have to redraw our number line. Okay, so remember, numbers are till infinity. So we redraw our number line. Okay, so let's say here is 0, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5, negative 6, negative 7, negative 8, negative 9 till negative infinity. So here 1, 2, 3, 4 till infinity. So negative 4 minus 5, what will be the result? Well, without stressing our mind, let's locate negative 4 on our number line. And then negative 4 is here. And minus means left. So we will decrease it by how much? By 5. That means we'll move towards the left by 5. Like 5 times rather. So this is negative 4. We're going to move 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that will give us what? Negative 9. So negative 4 minus negative 5 gives us what? Oh, negative 4 minus 5. Forgive me for that. So negative 4 minus 5 gives us what? Negative 9. And that is how we do that. Okay, you can also rearrange whichever way. If you rearrange and make it negative 5 minus 4, that will still give you the same answer because this is your negative 5. And then you are going to decrease, move towards the left 4 times. And that will be 1, 2, 3, and 4. So whichever way, it will give you negative 9. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, then what if you have negative 3, negative 2 plus 5? Negative 3, negative 2 plus 5. Okay, let's name this A. Let's call this B. Let's call here C, and then this one D. Well, there was no need to clean that number line, but quickly let's go through it. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. Okay. And negative 5. So you locate negative 3 on your number line, which is this, and then move towards the left by how many times? By 2 times. Okay, so this is negative 3, and then we'll move 1 and 2. So that will give us negative 5. So in other words, what we have here is negative 5 plus 5. And then what do we do? So plus here means that you should increase, move towards the right. Plus is right. So move towards the right 5 times, starting from negative 5. So this is negative 5. We move 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So minus 5 plus 5 gives us 0. Okay, we'll continue this topic in the next video. So please make sure you move to the next video for proper understanding of directed number. Please be kind to like and comment. Thank you.